Another week and another set of questions for that man, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian. Once again, rumors have been out there about him leaving the program. He shut them down a few weeks ago. He's having to do the same once again. As you see, rumors to leave Texas. Where to, you ask? Some are saying the NFL, some are saying other college football jobs, but once again, Sark is saying no go. All of these things are false. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Patrick, I really do find it interesting that I don't think that there was a time in where reporters would just ask questions that they wouldn't know very much. I think these days now, reporters are a little bit more informed. Now, if they're informed by Twitter or if they're informed by the forums or whatever, that's one thing. I don't find it interesting that he is shutting down the rumors. I find it interesting that they keep asking him about it because there hasn't been, I haven't seen anything from the other side. For example, the NFL side, whether it's the Dolphins job, the Giants job, or whatever. I just find it interesting that these questions keep coming up to Coach.
And the thing is, when these coaches are asked these questions, what I like to do is I like to watch and see how they react to the question and how they respond to it.
Right.
And we'll play his response that he gave in his teleconference yesterday in a few minutes, but it almost sounds like I'm going to go back to what I said about Kirby Smart after the Auburn game, where it was like, they were clapping, and like him trying to cover it up. And
right. Yeah, I remember you mentioned that afterwards. Like he had time to think about it, and then he came up with that elaborate.
You know, I feel like when these coaches do this, they're being so defensive because they're like, oh, man, they're on to me.
They caught on.
They're on to me.
They caught on.
Kiffin he hasn't really been like actually, super mad about it. He's just been, nonchalant. It's just, it's so disrespectful. It isn't like, how dare you say that? Why would you say something like that? He's just been so nonchalant, He's like, to even talk about that would just be so disrespectful.
Right.
It's like such a laid back vibe. Sark is just mad.
And I don't know if he's mad because it's now repetitive. Or, like you said, he's mad because it's a little bit more defensive. Here's Coach Sark once again shutting down rumors about leaving Austin.
I'd like to comment on something before I get into our team, something that has been bothering me now over the past few weeks, and that is people reporting that or insinuating that there's a possibility I could leave the University of Texas, and that is absolutely false and untrue. I'm not going anywhere. Never do I do this because I never want to be a distraction, so I never address these things. But at this point now, I feel like that is important that I do this because it's important for our team. It's important for our university. I've had no discussions, not with my agent, not with the university, not with any other school, not with any NFL team, about ever going anywhere else. I came here to win championships. I've got 2 kids enrolled at the University of Texas, one in law school, one on our team. I've got a third that hopefully decides to enroll at the University of Texas next fall, and my wife and I just had our son here in Austin. This is our home. We came here to win championships. We've built a damn good football program over the 5 years that we've been here. We've been to 2 college football playoffs. We won a Big 12 championship. We went to the SEC championship game in year 1. We've had 23 players drafted the last 2 years, which is more than any other school in the country. And our team GPA is at an all-time high. So can we please stop putting things out there that you have absolutely zero evidence on? And then can we please stop retweeting, putting it back out there as if it's true, as if it's the gospel? It is not true. If you have a question about my future, call me or call Chris Delcani, our athletic director, and we can set the record straight for you. So if everybody understand. So moving forward, when some Joe Blow decides to put something on social media out there, we all don't run with it like it's the gospel. Can we all agree on that on this call? And if you have a question about my future with the University of Texas, ask me on one of these calls. Ask Chris Delcani. He'll be more than happy to take your call so that we can set the record straight, so that we can focus on our football team, which is really what we should be doing.
That is a 2-minute soliloquy.
Yes.
Hammering down the reports. Now, I found it really interesting because he opened the door this time. I know before he was talking about it in the sense of a press conference where the question was posed to him, and I don't know maybe if other questions have been posed to him maybe by his friends because they're like their friends read it somewhere and then it gets back to him. And now he's agitated and talking about it. You said you'd like to, obviously that was on the SEC teleconference, so you didn't get a chance to see his body language, but like, what did you think of what he said and reading it the way that you do more from a psychological perspective?
You know, I feel like there's a lot of defensive moves there being made by Steve Sarkisian. And I mean, I will say it's got to be annoying, you know, constantly being asked about it. I mean, I'm sure Lane Kiffin is so tired of it at this point.
Right.
Eli's, I know, has set the record straight. He's tired of it. I mean, we're getting to that point of the year where you're just getting tired of all of this hoopla around the coaching carousel. I mean, it's crazier than it's ever been.
Right.
But right now, I don't even think he's done a good enough job this year to even warrant going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Because he came in with Arch Manning, preseason Heisman candidate, and has had a bottom half SEC offense all year. And who is the play caller? Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
What was the downfall of Billy Napier? He wouldn't give up play calling. And I don't know if Sark is going to follow the same path as Napier. I feel like it warrants a comparison because Sark won't give up play calling. He said that. He thinks that the best aspect of his coaching ability is play calling.
Just calling the plays,
Even though Texas hasn't really had a great offense this year.
Right, and we saw that how that came home to roost with not only Billy Napier but also with Auburn's Hugh Freeze as well.
Yeah.
And just how much play calling. It is a it's a delicate balance if you are going to continue to call plays, because most of these guys obviously are coordinators. So if you're going to continue those duties as well as, you know, be in charge of the entire team, you're walking a fine line and a tight rope. I think the Billy Napier comparison is an interesting one because if you are Steve Sarkisian, obviously you ultimately don't want what happened to Billy Napier to happen to you.
And Hugh Freeze.
For sure. But you could see the footprints in the sand, so to speak. Hey, is the team underachieving, and is the reason why because this is happening? I do feel with that statement, I feel like it is strong enough to where I think most of these coaches understand that everything they say now, whether it's a private conversation or whatever, that all this stuff now is out there for forever.
Right.
I feel like with what he said in the SEC teleconference, he can't leave. And so now I do think even if he was sniffing around in Miami, or even if he was thinking about taking that job over in Nashville with the Tennessee Titans, even if he was thinking about taking any of these head coaching vacancies, or maybe even one in college football, I don't think you can say what you said there on the front end and have that happen. I think you leave people in mystery. I think you leave people, you know, open-minded, so to speak. What I think he's trying to do now is trying to stop the questioning from his people, because I don't know what was landing on his desk.
Right.
Like his assistant coaches are maybe saying, you know, hey, coach, we need to be looking for jobs. The AD or whoever at the school is saying, hey, are these rumors true? I heard it from Billy Bob 6789 on Twitter. Or on the message boards or whatever.
Joe Schmo.
Yeah, some Joe Schmo as Drink called it. So, or actually, as Sark called it.
Yeah.
I think they all have like little
code words.
Antagonizing nicknames for now. But I just do feel like that this is an interesting coaching cycle for the team, for the people who are already in it, and Sark putting his stamp on, hey, I'm not going to be unless I'm made available by them firing.
Well, let's also compare these jobs that he's so-called rumored to be linked to.
Yeah.
He's at Texas right now.
Right.
Texas obviously underachieving this year, probably won't make the college football playoff because of that loss to Georgia and by the amount that they lost by. First, let's look at the Titans. Do the Titans have a better future than the Texas Longhorns?
Unless you believe in Cam Ward, which I don't personally. I don't believe that he is, you know, the next up-and-coming guy. If you believe that you have a good relationship with the general manager and you can help build that roster.
We heard from Corey Curtis. I mean, he doesn't even trust him. So why would you want to leave Texas for there?
Right.
Just because it's the NFL doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah.
And then Miami. Does Miami have a better future than Texas?
So you're saddled with a quarterback with a crazy contract. I mean, he's $200 million plus.
And health in question as well.
That's the biggest thing.
You can't ignore that.
That's the biggest thing. And I think obviously he has familiarity with Tua, with their, you know, obviously their ties to Alabama. But I just think that if you're Sark, none of the NFL jobs that are open, those two and the New York Giants job, none of those outweigh what you have right now in Austin. None.
No, because then you have to deal with general managers. Then you have to deal with owners rather than a board of trustees and whatever, and like your NIL donors. I think Texas is a much better brand than all of those. Maybe the Giants has a better brand, but they haven't been playing a better brand of football here as of late.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you could actually make the argument that the Giants have a brighter future than the Texas Longhorns because of Dart, because of Scadaboo, because of Neighbors, because of Wan'Dale Robinson, and like the defense has started to come along. It's just they've had to deal with injuries all year.
Yeah.
But I just don't see Sark wanting to go to the NFL yet.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe down the line if he wants to explore that route, sure, be my guest. But I think he really does like what he's doing in Austin right now. And I just don't see him leaving. I mean, he's going to have a team that'll compete for the SEC pretty much every year. I know this year has been like a one-off, but I mean, you were dealing with a guy that's making his first start, all of that height, or first year as a starter in Arch Manning. And, yeah, he didn't have a great year. The year's not over yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe if they blow out A&M, then you could make the argument that Texas should be in. But I think you have to win that game by 30.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. In my opinion, you have to win it by a lot, not just win it. And I don't see them winning that game as it stands right now, just the way Texas A&M is playing. What I do find a bit interesting about where he stands right now is I could see him wanting to leave if the college coaching also had to mean that you were dealing with all the NIL and all that stuff. With the now heavy presence of agents, of general managers, a lot of the stuff outside of football is kind of taken care of. So he can kind of focus more on the football side of it. I do get that there are some headaches being able to keep guys out of the portal, take them in and out of the portal. But those, to me, do not supersede the job. I mean, those problems don't supersede NFL problems and NFL issues, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and I honestly think moving over to the other side of the rivalry, which we'll go to after the break here, Oklahoma, I mean, our friend Jim Nagy, he probably handles all of the problems that Brent Venables could have.
100%.
Brent Venables just has to worry about his defense, which played pretty well against Alabama this past weekend. I just don't think Sark's leaving, but that would add another twist, and it would just continue to prove that my point that Lane Kiffin is going to be the highest paid coach in college football this year. Because if that's the case, you've got 4 teams trying to get him.
That would be unbelievable. And I don't know if I could see if Sark. Let's just say Sark leaves in a hypothetical world. Sark leaves. I don't see.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't see Lane at Texas. I just don't. It would be poetic though, given the fact that those two have that history. Sark and Lane have the history going all the way back to their days at Southern California.